most votes when there's this many people.
As Winifred is going around with the choice of songs that you may request of us, I shall keep you entertained with a story. But I'm going to need your help in telling this story because I only know bits and pieces of the story, so I'm going to need you guys to fill in the missing blanks. So when I hold my hand to my ear like so, that lets you know that I need you to tell me the person's name, or whether the person is a human, or a goblin, or a, I can't remember the name of those Japanese monsters with the concave heads that have the water. Kappa, thank you, the Kappas, yes. Where if you trick them into bowing, the water falls out of their head and they fall over dead and you're safe from them. Wonderful creatures, I love those stories. So, you are going to fill in the details for me. We are going to start today by telling the story of an amazing hero, a wonderful hero, an astounding hero by the name of...
You need some names. Give a random name.
Nicholas.
Nicholas was an amazing hero, and he was so amazing that nobody knew who he was. He was very quiet and calm and demure, and all the neighbors knew him just as, oh, that quiet guy that lives in the house over there. But he had untapped potential, and he discovered this untapped potential one day when he woke up to discover that he could see the fair folk, the little people, the fine folk, mother's milk. And everywhere he went, he saw them, the little elves, the little pixies, the little dwarves, the goblins, the asrai, all of these magical creatures. And everywhere he went, he saw them performing an amazing act. He saw them... Say it again? Juggling. The little folk were juggling. All the elves and pixies and sprites were going about town juggling. And he went up to his neighbor, whose name was? Johnson. He went up to his neighbor Johnson and said, "Hey Johnson, look at the little elf juggling over here." And Johnson said, "Are you all right, man? I'm worried about it." "What are you talking about?" There's an elf right there. He's juggling." You're seeing things, right? There's nothing there. "No, I'm telling you, right there. There's an elf, and he is juggling. He's got a green sweater and a cap on, and he's got a blue ocarina hanging from his neck, and he's holding some sort of black device in his hand, but he's just juggling constantly. You really don't see this?" And Johnson said, "No, man, I'm seriously worried about you. You need to go to the doctor." Well, what else is he supposed to do? Nicholas keeps moving. He walks around the town, and eventually he sees a nymph, a wood fairy, a creature from the tree, standing there in a long, flowing silk gown with a very large dog, and she was holding a cup of beverage, and she was juggling. She was so skilled that she never spilled a single drop from this cup. And he went up to this stranger that he saw on the street. He knew him from around town, but he'd never spoken to him before, and this person's name was? Joe. He went up to Joe and he said, "Hey Joe, do you see the nymph over there with that giant dog?" And Joe looked at him and said, "Nicholas, I'm really worried about you, man. Neighbor Bob was telling me about you. I'm worried about you." And so Nicholas soon realized that he was the only one that could see them. Nobody else could see these juggling fairies. And so of course they all thought he was crazy. So he spent the rest of the day walking around town, watching fairies juggle and not telling anybody about it, because he knew they wouldn't see him, and they'd all think that he was crazy. In fact, he was so obsessed with watching the fairies juggling that he forgot to eat. He forgot to drink. He forgot to sit down and take a rest. And so by the end of the day, his legs were extremely tired, and his stomach was growling, and he was parched. His fingertips had the little ridges that come up when you're not getting enough, and they're turning white, and you need water. And he's like, "I have not been paying enough attention to myself. I need to take care of myself." But then he had an idea. I can see the little folk, but can I talk to them? And so then he looked out and he saw a little goblin, a very adorable goblin. She had a little white dress with a little pink belt, and she was chewing on a stick that had some candy or something on the end of it. And he went up to this little goblin and he said, "Hello, little goblin, how are you doing?" "My name is Nicholas. What's your name?" "I'm sorry?"
Eleanor.
"Eleanor? Was that your name?"
Summer.
"Summer. Summer the goblin. Hi, Summer. Can you help me out? I'm very hungry and I'm very thirsty and I'm very tired." And Summer said, "Yes, I can help you out. Help me juggle these balls." And so he started juggling the balls, and she was juggling the balls, and they were juggling the balls back and forth to each other. And as soon as he was finished juggling the balls, he gave the last of the balls back to Summer, and he realized he wasn't hungry anymore, and he wasn't thirsty anymore, and his legs weren't tired anymore. And he said, "That was amazing. How did you do that?" And she said, "I'm a magical goblin. I do things like that." And so Nicholas said, "I'm seeing a lot of fairies around the town today. Do you know why that is?" And Summer said, "Oh, we just moved in last week." "Oh, that's dangerous, because Nicholas knows that fairies cause a lot of trouble. Just as Triskelion, they are talking all the time about the fairies stealing their keys." So Nicholas knew he had to do something to make sure that the people in his village would be safe from the machinations of the little folk. And so he turned to Summer and he said, "Summer, I very much appreciate you helping me out. Will you do me a favor? Will you promise me that you and the other fairies will not do anything to annoy or bother or distract or irritate any of the people in my town?" And Summer said, "What's in it for me?" And Nicholas thought for a second and he said, "I promise I will leave you a saucer of milk to drink on my back doorstep every night." And Summer said, "I do like milk, but no, that's not good enough. I want a lollipop every night." And so Nicholas said, "Very well, I will get you lollipops every night." And from that time until the day he died, Nicholas left a lollipop on his back doorstep every night. And Summer made sure that none of the fair folk bothered the people in the village ever again. And so that is how it came to be that Nicholas was the great hero that saved the village, despite nobody in the village even knowing who he was. The end.